Hey, hi guys. Can you hear me now clearly?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. No issues, right? No other issues. Okay. Yeah. I'm starting sharing my screen. So as I was telling, so my the regular laptop got crashed. So with the help of my friend's machine, I set up the Eclipse and Scala. And I don't have the PPT, but PDF is there. It might not be that fancy as you guys were seeing, but let's for today's session, so let's just get adjusted with this. Okay, this is my request, and yeah, even the video is getting uploaded to Google Drive. So maybe today and tomorrow it might get delayed. Yeah, because of this laptop issues. Okay, just please bear with me on that. So next, coming on to the topic. So last week we had couple sessions. So we completed the functional part of the Scala, functional programming part of Scala. We discussed all the different types of functions. We discussed anonymous functions, we discussed higher order functions, we discussed nested functions, we discussed closures, and all other stuff. And after that, we entered into the OOPS concepts as well. In OOPS concepts, we talked about classes, objects, and primary constructor and auxiliary constructors. So till auxiliary constructor, we have completed. And as we agreed upon, like I will not be taking much Java comparison today as well, because all these OOPS concepts. So coming to today's agenda, we'll discuss inheritance. So we'll discuss inheritance, we'll discuss about packages, we'll discuss about access specifiers. Okay, and so we'll also discuss about singleton objects and maybe some other miscellaneous concepts related to some case classes if time permits. Okay, and this is for any Java background guys. If you have any question, then only we'll compare it with Java. Okay, otherwise we'll learn Scala as is. As you treat this is a new programming language. So whatever I tell, just take them as this is how it works. Okay. So why is it changed like this, and why it was in Java like that? So those things, I mean, since majority people are from non-Java background, so I don't want to confuse the other folks. Okay, so just setting up the expectations for you guys. Now, before jumping on to the concepts, so do you guys have any open questions, issues from the last sessions? Did you guys get chance to at least write your first class in Scala and see any method writing into that? Did you guys try that out?
Hey Shiva.
Yes, Raj.
I have one question. For a companion object, it's usually good practice to keep it as a val type, right? Whatever the field variable we declare as a default.
Inside the companion, right?
Yeah.
It's like your static final constant. So if you want to maintain that static field as a constant, you go with a val. If you want to maintain it like a static variable common for all the objects, but that can be variable.
Because I tried with
like like if it is case, if there is a variable you need for pi value, so pi value will not change object to object. Okay.
Yeah.
And if there is a department and you are talking about some 10-15 employees, I mean, whatever that employee, like a department employee, you are writing a class. So you can declare a department variable, which is a common for all the employees. But if the department changes, that changes for all the employees.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks, Siva.
Yeah. If you want to maintain something universally constant, that means like a pi value or something like all the employees department might change, but within the same company they will be just rotating. If that's the case, then you declare company as a constant in your employee object and declare department value as a variable in your companion object itself. Did you get that difference? Okay. Yeah. Any other open questions? Okay. So now let me start with inheritance, since we were talking about the classes, objects, and companion objects, primary constructors, auxiliary constructors. When in the same phase, if we continue the OOPS concepts, so let's take up inheritance. And again, if I compare this with Java and why it is like this, it's going to may create a lot of confusion, but let me try to put it as simple as possible. Just try to take them as like a kind of rules or something. Okay. So in general, so what is mean by inheritance? Inheritance, when do we go for inheritance? So we will be using inheritance only when you have some basic feature already available, and along with that basic feature, if you want to add your own specialized features to something, instead of making the changes already present in the present class, you can write your own class by extending that. So you will get all the features of your parent class into your child class, and you can add your extra features also to your child class. Okay, simple examples like if I declare a class vehicle, okay, and so my class vehicle is, it's my vehicle class, but this is a general vehicle class, general vehicle class. So class car, this is a specific vehicle. So under vehicle, you can represent any vehicle. It could be a car, it could be a motorcycle, it could be plane, it could be a ship. Anything is a vehicle. But all common properties that you want to put at a vehicle level, you will specify there. And anything that can be applicable only for your car object, you will specify them. Okay. So that's we go for. And if you want to take few more examples, let's say I'll take an employee. So all employees will have some set of attributes like ID, name, and department, all these things. And your manager might have, he is also part of employee only, but he will have some extra features. And so employee is also a person. If I want to take a student, even student will also be a person. So I can declare a one parent class which is person and declare all my common methods in this. Every person will have a name, gender, age, SSN. If I put all the common attributes and all its methods related to this inside a person class itself, then I don't need to rebuild all these attributes again in employee class or manager class or student class. I can just reuse them by extending that person. So you don't even need a name attribute in this, and you don't need to store, you don't need to redeclare them, age, gender, all other a regular person attribute. So this is just to separate out a common features into a generic class, and we call that class in terms of OOPS concepts, that as a parent class or a super class or I think those are the two names that we call by. So parent class or super class, and anything that we write our specific functionality that we implement. So if we give him a department ID and an employee ID, the same person will become employee. And if he also manages a team and he gets some extra bonuses and stuff, he will become a manager on top of employee. So always there is a hierarchical relation. Wherever you see a hierarchical relation and where you can represent your child class is one of your parent class relationship. If you read this, child class is one of the parent class. If that statement wherever is true, those all places you can use inheritance. Now, employee is a person, that's perfectly fine. Manager is an employee, or manager is a person, both are true. And student is a person. So you can extend student class can extend. So you can declare here class student extends person. But is a student an employee? Obviously not. So in that case, so wherever that is not possible, you don't extend that class because it's not easy to maintain that the generic features in a parent class and specific features in a child class. The more higher you go in this hierarchical order, the more generic attributes you'll find there, and the more the depth you come in this hierarchical order, the specific nature you will find in. Okay. So that's just a brief 2 minutes brief on what is inheritance. When will we go for inheritance? Now coming to it, our Scala inheritance concept.
Shiva, just 1 second. You said the more higher you go in the hierarchy, you get more generic, and the more lower you go in the hierarchy, you get more specific, right?
Specific, okay. Correct.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yep.
Shiva, I have 2 questions. Can you go down?
Yes, Dharmesh. Yep.
So here the class student, we can call it as a person, right? Extends person, and the manager also can extend as a person, right?
Yes. If manager, if I extend this here, let's say, I mean, this is my new keyboard. This is a new laptop just there. If I type this class employee extends person, okay, this is true, correct?
Yeah.
Because every employee is a person.
Correct.
Okay, so class manager extends employee. Okay, if A equal to B, B equal to C, automatically A equal to C.
So this is inheritance inside the inheritance, right?
Yes.
We can keep
Chain-
on inherit. We can keep on inherit the class.
Any level.
Okay.
Yep.
So there are any level maximum we have, like we can go up to 10, 15. I remember some level.
There is no such specific count. I think so, but not more than 256 or so, because it maintains in the stack the execution of the compilation stack that might have references to one to other. It might not go beyond 256. That's the, I think, max limit as far as I remember. But you can easily go up to very easily. I mean, you can go very easily up to 10 to 12 also. And beyond that, even no one goes.
Yeah, it is going to be more complex then.
Yep, more complex.
And regarding the variables using inside the class, right? I have an employee and I have a let's say some other class. Can I create a same variable name, or I should create a different variable name? But those two classes are two different classes. It's not related to each other. Let's say here a manager you extended as an employee, and class student you extended from the person. When I create a variable inside the manager or student, can I create the same variable? Can I create it with the same variable name?
So with a name, gender, age, and SSN again in student.
No, not not in the not from the super class. Let's say something related to person, but those are common.
Yeah, anything that is common, the general practice is put in a super class.
Okay. I'm not asking. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. So now if you have the common features attributes declared in your super class, you don't need to redeclare them in your subclass. By default, you can access them. So now every student, even if I don't declare, I just declare a branch. Okay, student will have a branch. So even if I just declare one variable in this student, so this student class has 5 variables by default. These are 4 and this one is 5th. You don't need to redeclare them if you want to assign a name to a student, if you want to assign a gender to a student.
Yeah, I get that, Shiva. My question is, let's say manager, we have a field called location. Student, we have a field called location. Okay, that's not. Yeah, that's not in this super class, and that's not the person, because we have not defined it in person. Not person, person or employee. So I can create a same variable inside manager as well as student, right?
Obviously, not at all.
Okay. And is it mandatory that I have to use all the fields defined it in a person class or the super class?
That's up to your wish. Okay, that's up to your wish. You use it or you don't use it. That's not a problem.
Let's say here name, gender, age, and SSN is there. If I ignore all 4 fields, this should work, right? The student class should work.
Yeah, it works. But if you are not using all the 4, then it doesn't make sense inheriting that.
Yeah.
Okay, but it works. Technically, it works.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. You just have to pass as all empty values for calling this object. That's it.
Okay, sure, yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I'm showing the coding part of it. I was just explaining the theory. So coming to the coding standards or the hands-on part of it. So let me take one simple example, just the one that I have here. So I'll take a vehicle class. Okay, vehicle is again same since we were discussing our typical example. By now you might have got used to that. So I'm taking a class vehicle. So this has two attributes. So one is ID, vehicle ID, and second one is year of manufacturing. Okay, and so I can now create a class car, and which extends vehicle. Okay, but when, unlike your Java, no, again I don't want to compare that. When you are extending any class that has a constructor parameters, these are like constructor parameters, right? So the class itself will act as like a constructor, and whatever the class parameters, those are also called as constructor parameters. Okay. So when you have a class declared with parameters also, and if you want to extend that class, so there are some rules that if these fields are vals and you need to override them, override val id int and override val year int and extends vehicle of id comma year. So you have to specify if those fields are, let's say I have this, so if those fields are val types, you have to specify override val id int and override val year int. So you might ask, what if they are not val? If they are var, and if I just save it at the time of compilation, you can see, so overriding variable id in class vehicle as of type int, value id cannot override immutable variable. Don't expect any detailed explanations on that. That will make confusion. I can explain if you guys need, but in simple terms, I'll give you, if your constructor parameters or class parameters are type vals, then only your Scala will allow you to extend those variables. Okay, and so if you have to declare any field, okay, if you want to declare any field as class for the class sort of ID or something, so and if you want them to be as a var, just declare them inside your class, but not as a constructor or class parameter. But anything, all vals only, try to declare at the class level. And if when you are overriding that, you just have to provide override keyword and val and those variables and extending your parent class with those variables. Okay. And so inside your class, Now we discussed val and var in a class parameters. If your class parameters are vals, then only you can extend it. If your class parameters are var, you can't extend it. That rule is now, we have got that rule. Second, inside your class, within this curly braces, okay, you can declare both variables and as well as vals, and you can extend both of them even in your child class. So here in this example, I have declared a model of the vehicle as a variable and brand as constant, and you can extend both of them in your child class as well. So if you want to access that or just to change that model, just you use model equal to Swift. You don't even need to specify the var keyword if it is your superclass variable. But if it is a constant in your superclass, you need to redeclare that with the override keyword. Override val brand. Then it overrides the constant of your superclass. For variable, you don't need to redeclare. You just need to, if you want to override its value, just override it. Otherwise, whatever the value that you have there, that will come to. Now, so I have declared this one variable model equal to C star, val brand equal to Ford, and I have defined the two string methods in these two classes override there. So ID, I'm printing this, whatever the ID that I receive, and year, this year, and model, brand, this brand. Okay. So why I have a two brands here? Okay. So now let me try to show you both val v2 equal to new vehicle s of 10, 2016, and println of, just let me print that. Okay. So when you created an object of this vehicle S, so you passed the 10 and 2016 as a constructor parameter, right? So that got printed ID as 10, year as 2016, model as Fiesta, and as Ford. Okay, and 2 times I printed the same, this dot brand or just brand. Now, when I created the car S object 20 and 2015, and this values by default, so this constructor should get executed, and this is in turn extending this vehicle of ID year, and this will call this constructor, and that way the ID gets set into 20 and year gets set into 2015. Now, at the time of printing, when I'm printing this println of v1, so this toString method should get executed. But inside this, what I'm trying to do, I'm calling the superclass toString. Before printing this class toString method, I'm calling this class. So inside this your superclass, your ID is 20 when you are creating the second object, and year is 2015. and model is this dot model is a script. Because the object v1, so even though you're calling super dot the toString, so this dot model, so when you called this, it has overridden, because in model this is a script, and even though this is calling this and it's printing this, even if I stop all these things, just okay, you can see that in my subclass CarS, I'm simply calling the super dot toString, but still whatever the values that you have overridden by the time this class got declared, so your model is still pointing to your Swift, and brand is Maruti. And again, second brand is also the brand variable is got overridden. It has a Maruti. And finally, it's just printed in subclasses. This way, you can override the constants declared at a class parameter, and you can override the variable, you can override the constant, and you are already overriding the methods. If you want to override the method of a parent class, just override def and your method name, your parent class method name, and provide your new implementation. Okay. Any questions on this? So if you override the same method that is present in the parent class, and if you provide a different implementation in your child class, that is called as method overriding, which is the dynamic polymorphism part. As per the OOPS concepts, we call that as method overriding as a dynamic polymorphism type. What is mean by polymorphism? With the same name, doing two different functions. If I call this println of v2, this is calling this method and printing these values. And if I call the same this method from inside this class, and all the values getting overwritten. With the same name, different behaviors. That's called polymorphism. Okay. Any questions around this?
Hey Shiva.
Yes, Raj.
Now let's take an example. If I want to pass any parameter in the constructor of car S, then how can we pass that parameter here?
How can you pass that parameter? You write your auxiliary constructor.
Oh, okay.
With extra parameters. Right?
Yeah, that's fine. I just thought maybe we can pass as our primary constructor.
Yeah, you can. You try giving them just a val or var something. What is miles? See, you just pass them how many miles that driven. right? It accepted that.
Oh, okay.
Either you do this way or you write your either way.
So the what like if you want to refer any method from the parent, then you have to use that super keyword, same as the Java.
Same as Java. Yep. Super
Okay.
and this keyword same as Java.
Okay. Thanks, Siva.
Yep. And override is also for the same purpose. In Java, you use annotation. Here, you explicitly specify that override keyword.
Yeah, I got that one. Thanks, Siva.
Yep. Okay. Dharmesh, Snehali.
Yeah, I got it.
I'm good, Shiva, so far.
So far, it's smooth, right?
Yeah, I'm just a little bit confused with the override part, but I think I'll read on it and then I'll be fine because I got it, but I don't think I've understood it pretty well. So possibly I'll have to read something on it. Or we can take it after the class.
So override keyword, you use it for in case of constant. You again specify that override keyword if you want to override a constant. And if it is a method, always you have to specify override if you want to write the same method in your child class.
Okay.
Okay.
Shiva.
Yes, Dharmesh.
This ID and year, right? I can pass the empty class, create empty class with vehicle yes, right? Why you create ID, only ID and year? I can create it inside the class and then I can use it, right?
You can do that. Not a problem. You can do that.
In that case, car yes is going to be empty, right?
Yes. Here, why empty? Well, I can declare my var miles, right?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, definitely, you can create it. You can define it. But in this case,
this,
Yep.
This list will be empty. That's it.
Okay, and inside, like how you defined the brand, the same way I have to override ID.
All the way.
Okay.
Yep. ID and yes, correct.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
Shiva?
So, yeah.
The last question, is there any order specific in a CarS constructor? Let's take an example. If you put miles in front and all that stuff, then is it okay?
What is car specific?
Let's take an example. Here is a ID integer in the CarS constructor, ID integer and a year integer, right? So let's take an example. If you keep at the last and you keep the miles very first parameter, then is it okay? Because in the Java, you know that, right?
No, it's not okay.
Okay, then it's the same as the Java, right? Very first, you have to use the super.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. Okay. So now, yeah. So let me. So this is the only Scala part of inheritance I talked about. So just to summarize, same thing. We can override only vals, but not vars in class constructor parameters that we have seen. And if there are any vars in your parent class, you can directly override them or extend them without any override or var keyword. But for vals, that is mandate. Okay. And variables do not need redeclaration, same stuff. And the scope of variables will be overridden in the parent class. That means whatever the variables that you are setting from inside your subclass, that values will get reflected in your parent class as well. That's why when we called the super dot string also, it printed all your subclass values only here as well, but not the Fiesta and Ford. Okay, and those points only I have listed down there. You can go through them.
That's applicable for only the subclass, right? And whatever there in the main class, if I execute something through using main class, it will maybe report whatever there in the main class.
Yes, correct. That's why we saw that V2 just with the main class. So that printed the Fiesta and Ford.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Now, so the next topic, the packages and access modifiers. So nothing much different from Java. It's the same. I'll just explain the concept. No need of much comparisons also. So packages. So if you are not from Java background, then I will explain you the concept as well. So the purpose of packages in the OOPS concepts is that it's like a grouping. Okay, you put all your luggages into one rack. You separate your stuff by racks or groups or folders. Okay, so this packages is nothing but you write your programs into a particular folder that you want to maintain, and so that all common nature, a similar kind of nature, you'll put into one folder, and another kind of similar programs into another folders. That because of that, we use for achieving that we use packages. The packages behavior is exactly same as your Java. Syntax wise, you have some changes if you want to go with, or otherwise you can still use your Java kind of one. Now, so by default in any of your Scala program, there are two packages that gets imported implicitly without your notice, or you don't even need to specify them. So in any Java program, even in any Scala program, so whatever I write, even though I didn't specify any import statement, this will import by default the java.lang and scala _. Here underscore in Scala represents star. Star means any. So how many ever classes that are present in this java.lang packages, all those classes will be imported. And inside this Scala how many ever the classes that are present, all those classes will be imported. So same like here, import Scala.star in Java. Okay. And again, when you are writing anything into it, like here, let's see that as well. So import Scala. So control Scala.console, or any class if you want to import, you can import, or if you want to import all the classes inside a package, you specify that.
So here import means you're actually not getting the class in this, you are just giving a reference, right?
Yes.
Okay. It's like
at
a
the
dot
time
profile kind of a thing?
What is it?
Is it like a dot profile kind of a thing?
Dot profile in Linux?
Yeah.
It's a kind of adding a class path variable.
Okay.
Okay. It's like a linking. It comes into
okay.
your
Referencing there. Okay.
Yep. Reference linking.
Yeah.
So you are using a new feature. Let's say you want to use some string operation that is not available by default, and someone has developed that, and you don't want to recode that in your program. You just want to use it. So just specify the package name, whichever folder that is present in and you pull that. That's it.
Okay.
It's like a UDF,
So,
right?
Like a UDF, exactly. Like a UDF in Hive or Pig. Okay, and whatever the program that you are writing, you can also put it into a package. By default, I kept this in default package. And if you want to write it into a package, just go and create a package. Okay, just create a package. Generally, we go with the company, the reverse domain name, com.test. Your project name. So inside this package, if you move this, so now here you have to specify that this is in package com.test.project. So syntactically, so this is one way which is very similar to your, which is same as your Java syntax. I'm struggling with the new laptop. This is one way, same as your Java. And in Scala, you have two more ways that you can specify this way also. So now, any number of classes that you write inside this curly braces, that all those come under this package. And one good thing is that you can even write your classes after this also, and into a different package as well. So that means you can write more than one class within the same .scala file into different packages as well. Okay, that's just an option available. It's not that nothing benefit you will get out of it, just rather than putting all the classes in one file. And yeah, just an option, that's it. Okay, I generally don't recommend that. You just still follow the same methodology that you were coming from Java. Now, there is one more option syntactically available, which is, since these are, if you see them in the backend, in the source, they are like a different folders, right? They are like a different subfolders. If you go right click and see this, so this is present in workspace, Scala test. So if I go there, users, workspace, Scala test, inside source. If I created that com.test.project, it created a com folder. Inside the test folder, inside the project folder, inside that it placed your program. So now it is nothing but your folders. Your package is nothing but creation of folders. Now, so what you can do is, you can also do this way. Package com, inside that package test, and inside that package project. You can do this very well. Okay, and if you have any other classes that needs to be just placed in com.test package, but not inside a project, but inside com.test, you can just immediately, you can either write here or after this, the closing brace of your project.
So
here.
Basically in this, what you can go up, Shiva, a little bit. Okay, so in this test, is containing project basically.
Yep. Test is containing the project folder.
Project. Okay.
And it can also contain another classes like class test. Okay. Class test. That's it.
Okay, so is there any reserved word for the name of the package? Any
Name of the name of the package?
Yeah, any reserved word in Scala or something?
I don't think so.
Like DATE is a reserved word, right? So like that, something like that.
Or DAT, date.
Yeah, like some, I don't know if, like, for example, com you have said. So is com a reserved word, or is it? It can be actually used.
It can be anything. It can be like org.
Okay.
Okay.
As long as if it is not highlighting, I think we should be okay, right?
Yep. Yep. Correct. So even though I need to create that package, if I have to change that to arg, just create the package with arg dot your whatever name that you want to go with. Okay. So let me put it back.
Com. Okay.
Yeah. So com is not a reserved word, or anything is not a reserved word here. You can use anything like snehali dot patel dot project.
Okay.
And it creates Snehali as a super folder, and inside that Patel as a subfolder. Inside that it creates a project folder.
So there's no limit of how many can be incorporated in a package, right?
There is no such limit.
Okay.
There is no such limit. Even there is no such limit on the nested levels of folders as well.
Okay.
Okay. But I think theoretically, I mean, as far as I know, there is no such limit. Sometime back, some guys faced an issue to put a class in a project. I mean, more than some hundreds of classes inside one single package. I remember that there was a practical issue that we faced some time back. Yeah, let me check with Raj as well. Raj, I mean, is there any some specific number that is available that that limits the number of classes inside a package?
Not sure. Like, as far as I know, there is a no theoretically limit for the anything of the.
Yeah, theoretically speaking, there is no limit, but I think I remember that we faced that you are not able to add any more classes to one of the package existing. I was not sure. I didn't remember that perfectly, whether it was just the limit reaching the package or some other reason causing that issue. Okay, but theoretically there is no such limit that inside one project, how many classes you can put. Okay.
Shiva, one more question. Like, I have created a package called package 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have created a same name package 1.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody else, let's say Raj, is trying to use this functionality of yours and mine. While I'm importing, it will give a problem, right? Because a duplicate package, but two different functions inside the package.
Two different functions. If you create the same package, not a problem. See, you created a package 1, right?
Yeah.
You created a package 1. Inside means let's call this as a package 1. Okay. And inside this, your function is fun1, and Raj created fun2.
Somebody else is trying to import the package.
Yep.
So at that time, they have to give import.package1, import.package1 2 times, right?
Import package1 dot function1, import package1 dot function2.
So they have to specifically give the function name. They cannot simply leave just import package name?
If both the function names are same, or if both the function names are different.
Let's say both the function names are same.
Both the function names are same and package name is also same. That you will override.
Okay. So can you?
So
show
you are
me?
referring. See, you are referring that it's simple, right? So you are creating one folder and creating the same file by two users.
Yeah.
Okay. But if you are writing a separate class within the same folder, not an issue. Just you don't even need to think of this Java concepts here at all. Just treat them package as like a folder and your class as like a file inside that.
Okay.
Okay. So someone who is creating inheritance test2.scala, perfectly fine in the same package. And someone else is also creating within the same package with the same class name. It's not a new class. It's just is trying to update the same. Or first of all, it will not allow to create that class.
Okay. Well,
It
compiling
says that it already exists.
Okay. Within the project.
Yep.
Okay.
If you want to try it out, you can just give this way, like new Scala class, same this inheritance test. See, file already exists.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
That's it. Okay. So yeah, that way you can use your package and import statements. And unlike your Java, Scala also has given a flexibility that in the same line you can import multiple classes from the same package just by specifying the comma separator. Whereas if this was from this package, from java.io package, if you had to import three classes, only these three classes, you had to write three import statements in Java. Import java.io.file, import java.io.io exception, import java.io.file not found exception. But in Scala, you can combine all these three classes into one curly brace and comma separated, and with just one import statement, it imports all of them. This is one flexibility. And one more flexibility is that you can import wherever you want. Unlike Java, you have to place your import statements only at the top of your program. Only just before your class. This is the only section where we specify our import commands. But in your Scala, I can even import just before I start using that. I can write my import statements here. Okay.
It is applicable for only that object.
What is it?
If I import it
over, you import, it's like the scope lies within that body.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, and that's the reason we always put everything at the top only, so that they will be available inside wherever you want to use. Okay, and so you can put it in within a method or within a block of code and import classes and packages or objects. Okay, and coming to the access specifier.
One quick summarize, Shiva. So we have package. Inside a package, we have classes. Inside a not inside a class. It's a inside a package we have class and class to object. Within that object, we have various methods, right? So this is the hierarchy we follow.
Correct. Exactly.
Okay.
Package is a folder. Class is a file. Within that, you have your functions, and within that function, you will have your fields declared.
Okay.
That's the hierarchy.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So next, moving on to the access specifiers. Same like your Java, you have mainly 3 types here. So whatever the default type that I'm not going to talk, that is present in Java here, Raj. So whatever that we have here, only these 3: private, protected, and public. So we'll talk about that. So
Okay,
private, yep. So private is something which is, by keyword itself, you'll understand. Anything that you declared as a private, that is just available or accessible within that scope. Okay. So if you declare any method as a private or any field as a private inside a class, and that field and that method will be available only inside that class. Outside of that class, it will not be available. Just for as an example, if you see class outer, and I have inside that class outer, I have another class called inner, and inside this inner class, I have a method f, a function defined f, but that is a private. So if I try to access that inside inner class anywhere, that will be accessible. So this closing curly brace is the opening for inner. So anywhere till here is possible. So after inner class and before your outer class, this is not accessible. Up to here, this is accessible. And fortunately, so if you have any innermost classes also, even from inside them, you can access your private stuff. Okay. And next, if you declare anything as a protected, only they will be available in the subclasses of that class. Let's say I have a class super. Inside that, I have a function f with a protected, and this f I can only access inside my subclass, which extends super. But if I have any class, other class, which is not extending super, then that will not be able to access. You will get an error message. But in Java, if this other and sub also part of the same package, then you can access them. But here, protected means only the subclasses of that class can access that functions. Okay, I hope it is clear for you guys. Otherwise, I can run this.
No, can you just
show
go to
you.
the protected again? 1 second, protected.
Yep. I'll run this in the Scala. So it defined this superclass. Okay, package. This is not taking packages inside your shell. Playing with packages is difficult. Okay, that doesn't take the packages. Okay, so here, so if you want to try within the same class, so if you try this Scala class, so what is that? Other. Okay. and whatever you have here. I'll paste it for you. Yeah. Okay. I don't want this. I already declared that package there. Okay. So this F is now accessible from your subclass because this is extending your this class. But other, since this is not extending any class, so it is not able to access your.
Okay. So basically, because super has it inside it defined, so only super can access it, nothing else can access.
Protected means anyway this is inside your super. Let's say I have this class A, okay, and this class A is class B. I used the same super and sub keywords. That's why you guys might be confusing. Now, so F is defined inside A, and accessing that inside A is nothing surprising, right? You declared that inside A. Accessing this method inside A is nothing surprising, but accessing that inside class B, so that is something that you can do with if it is a protected. But
Okay,
even though this,
so basically B is extending A, so because of that B got the access to the function F, which is
correct,
inside A.
exactly.
Okay.
Yep, that's what I'm trying to say. Yep.
Okay.
If it is having a private method, private def function 2, just println. So will I be able to access that function too?
A private? Yes, you can.
Why?
Because it's extending.
So if it is a private, you can't. That's what we discussed in the last slide, right? If it is private, you can't access. You can't access it outside of your A class.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's private. Sorry, I didn't watch that.
Yep. So if it is a public, just see this example. You'll get to know all the three scenarios. Just.
Okay.
Okay. If it is not declared as a private or this thing, just declare a function 3. Println of function 3. Now, will you be able to access that function 3 here? Yes, it didn't throw that error message, right? Otherwise, it would have shown that underlined red line. Now, if you want to access that, so new A, because I need to, I can call that method on an object, new A of function 3. See, that's it. So if it is private, you can't even access in your subclass. If it is protected, at least you can access that in your subclass. If it is public, you can access anywhere, both in subclass and as well as in other class. That's it. Simple difference only. Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Sarmesh. So next. Yeah. So anything that you don't declare either private or protected, then that is by default, obviously that's a public. You don't need to specify the public keyword, unlike your Java. So a public member can be accessed from anywhere. Every member not labeled private or protected is public by default. There is no explicit modifier for public members. And so that's the part of public. And again, private itself. So just one more point on the private. So unlike Java, private to a class we have in Java. So here we have a concept of called a variable that is private, but that is not private to a class. That is private to a package. Meaning, so I have a field, but that is not a private at class level. That is private at a package level. Okay? Meaning, private var brand which is int, okay, equal to 10. So I can specify this is private to this package. So now if that field is private to the package, so let's see if I can access that. So here, anyway, I'm extending that brand println of brand. Okay, I'm able to see that. Now let's see here, println of brand. Here I don't know or in which class that is present. So that's the reason let me create an object instead of this many. Okay, val obj equal to new AK. Okay, now I'll call that obj dot brand. Okay, and all these things I will change it to obj. That was already existing error. Now here, so this is behaving differently, correct? So you have a private with var model some Swift. Okay, just I'm declaring. If I try to access the same, see the differences. Okay, so this model is a private variable. If you don't specify, this is by default private to the class, but you can define a variable which is a private to a package. This is a private variable, brand is a private variable, but not private to this class. This is private to this package. So any class that is
private to package is defined as like public in class, right?
No. So public in class, that is equivalent that other than this package also can access your methods.
Okay.
Let's say if there is any class that is present inside your com.test, or you create another package, even from another package you can access your public stuff.
Okay.
So if I have to create, so arg dot test dot package. Okay, package is a keyword that it's not accepting because org.test.project. Inside that, even I can create a class, Scala class, class C. Okay, just I'll create a class C. Now, here I can import, or here wherever I want, I'll just import com.test.project. Okay. Now, com.test.project._ in our Scala syntaxes. Now, I can even very well create the object of that, like a val obj equal to new a, and println of obj dot your brand. It's an error message. Variable brand in class A cannot be accessed in this package because this is a private to this package only.
Yeah.
Okay. Whereas function 3, this is a public. You can try accessing that function 3. obj dot func3. See, there is no error message. So private to package is not equal to public. You got that difference, right?
No, my question is, if I'm defining some variable, like here you defined a brand, right? Brand equal to table is private to that package. If I create some another variable called color inside the class,
yep,
that will consider like a public, right? Public variable.
So without the scope, how do you want, like this?
Yeah, like that.
Okay. So if you don't specify, that's a public.
Yep.
Okay. So this color code, treat this as color code and try to access. See?
Yep.
You got it, right?
Yeah. So in this case, coming back to my same question, can you? So the brand can be accessible in any of the classes defined below, right?
Correct. Yep.
And similarly, can you go up? The color also can be accessed by any of the classes.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
When you can access even outside of this package, that means obviously any class inside this package can access that.
Yeah. So inside this particular program, color, brand and color accessing is no difference.
Accessing brand and color inside this package, no difference.
But if you
when you go outside of the package, so brand is not accessible. Color is.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Yep. That's the difference between private to package.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's it on that. Extending a class inheritance, this we talked about. Yeah. So this is sometimes maybe if you
So
need.
1 second, Shiva.
Yes, Nayali.
Public, is there a time when public class can get like expired, like it because like private is only for that class, protected is only protected, like public, is there a time when public is not accessible, or it is all the time accessible?
All the time accessible.
Okay.
Okay. So, yeah. Any other questions, Nayali?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Yeah. So next, so that's it all on the access specifiers.
Okay.
Private, protected, public.
Okay.
I hope you guys are clear with both the fields and methods.
Yeah.
Okay. And within the package, with subclasses and or outside of the package, all the use cases. Okay. Now, so let me move on to the next one, which is sometimes you what is it, Nehali?
Singleton objects. Are we moving to singleton?
No, this slide, where args, variable arguments. Okay, so this is just a small miscellaneous topic that got in between in the slides. So anyway, I thought I will explain. Okay, we'll go to singleton after this. Okay, so methods with variable arguments. So even in sometimes you don't know how many variables that your method may expect. If you see our println statement, our println is also one of the function, right? So whatever the println that we are calling, so if you pass one parameter, that will run. If you don't pass, if you just pass multiple parameters also, so by concatenated, it will take that as a string and it will run. But you don't know sometimes how many parameters that you may expect. But how many are parameters that you pass? With those many parameters, you want to execute your function. In that case, what we can do is very simple in Scala. You just declare that. So let's say I want to write my custom print all function. I don't know how many parameters that I pass to this. Generally, I define my variable name and colon the data type. Now, if you specify the star there, so this combination of strings colon string type can be any number of occurrences. Star means the same, your Unix meaning, either 0 or more. So if there is any, if there are more than a one value, so you can treat that like an array or as a collection. But since we didn't talk about collection, that's why I'm giving you a array name. But ideally, this is like a collection, a list, and on lists we have a function called for each. Okay, for each element of this list. So now, how many are the arguments that you receive for each argument? So do your logic. You can write your logic inside this for each. It can be multi-line statements also. Here, since you just have a println, but here you can have a multi-line statements also inside your for each also as well. Now, so what I am doing here, so collection dot for each. So that means for every element of this, just println. This is similar to ampersand args in Python. Yes. Okay, just try this. Just I declared that. Okay. So if you call this print all without any arguments, No issues. It will not complain anything. Okay. And if you pass only Nehali, just it prints you that. If you pass Nehali, Patel, I think this is your surname, Nehali. That's why I'm using.
Yes, that's my surname.
Okay. So if you use some other name, any number of arguments, this keeps on running.
Jax is missing today, so you can't use his name.
Yeah, I know. I observed that.
Yeah, you can use Revati.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
So this way, if you don't know how many number of parameters that you expect, but all those parameters are of similar type, one thing that should be, they all should be of same data type. Otherwise, you'll not be able to specify that in. Okay, so that is of that variable args method.
Even if I pass a number 100, that will consider it as a string, right?
String, correct. Okay.
Hey Shiva.
Yes, Raj.
I have one question. Like in Java, we have to keep the variable argument parameter at last.
Correct.
Your voice is breaking. Who is speaking?
My voice or Raj?
No, Raj or who is speaking? His voice is completely broken. I could not hear anything.
Okay, so my question is that in the variable argument method, variable argument parameter has to be the last parameter, right?
Yep.
It's the same as the Java.
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. It's the same as a Java. Because you don't know what were the, the same reason. Same reason as in Java. Okay. So launching application, we have already seen this. If you want to run anything as a Scala application, the two ways that I told you, right? So one way is that you write your object class. Sorry, I myself making a contradictory statement. An object, you have to write an object. Inside that, write a main method. So this way, you can run this. If you run this as a, what happened to this? Any errors on this? Yeah. So one problem with this Scala is that if you have any other programs also in that package with error, that it will not let this one to run. Okay. So let me comment this out. And how many errors are there? Okay. And in this, let me refresh this. Till now we were executing this, right? Look, it's something strange. I declared them all too many packages here. Okay. So having those nested levels of packages and packages, so that was a problem. So you should have at least one object declared, and inside that main method, then you can run that as a Scala application. Whereas this one, you have all your Scala code, but you can't run that as a Scala application. But if I have an object test, and inside that object test, having a main method will make this as a application. And the other way is extending a trait that is called that extending another trait app. So this will also make your application running.
Which one is recommended? Extending the app or?
There is nothing much recommendation or drawbacks or something. It's up to your wish.
Okay.
Not much differences. Okay. So either ways is fine. So you can now see after adding object test extends app, this line. So now it is showing that run a Scala application. Okay. So that is, so making a Scala project or Scala program as a runnable application or launching that as an application. Okay. So one thing with when you are extending app, so if you want to access the arguments, in case if you have a main method, let's say if I have main method this way, if you pass any command line arguments for this program when you're running this, so if you want to pass through command line, those command line arguments you can access through args of 0, args of 1, args of 2. But here, when you are extending this app, even though you're not specifying what is your args array, okay, by default you can access your args array here the same way that your main method. Like if you pass any command line arguments, you can just access it by args of 0, args of 1, args of 2, args of 3, like that. You got it right?
Yep. So I think the extends is the clean way of doing. I mean, you can minimize one line coding here.
Yeah, one line you can then minimize. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, let me. Yeah, I don't have the PPT today, so that's why I'm going through this. Just let me take the help. Launching application we have seen. Yeah. So the next topic is a singleton object. Okay. So I already briefly explained you at the time of when we're talking about auxiliary constructors for a pizza class. I took the companion pizza class with a default size and default type, if you guys remember. Okay, don't tell me that we have forgot. Now, purpose is same. Like anything that you want to make as a static and that is available across all your objects. Since we don't have the static keyword in Scala, we achieve that all the static functionality, whatever we were getting in Java. It could be a static variable, it could be a static method, it could be a static block, all those things that you put it inside a one object. So this object, anything that you declare inside this, same like your static method or a field access, here also that object name dot your method name, object name dot your field name, the same manner you can access them. So generally, anything that will not have a different instances, different copies of that will put it in a one singleton object. There is no way that you can create an object of that again and again. You're already creating as an object, and you can access that wherever you want to. For example, so if you see this example, maybe that might make more sense to you in real time. I have a date utils class. Okay, generally in Java. Inside that, get current date, get current time. So from wherever you call this, you need the same functionality. Okay, it's not like yeah, if someone calls you, you should give different values. The other one calls you the other value. If anyone calls you with the same parameters, you will be giving the same results, irrespective of object. Whereas, if you have a employee class and get salary method, if you call on Dharmesh object, it will be a different value. If you call on a Snehali object, it will give a different salary value object. But no matter whether I am calling it from Dharmesh object or Snehali object, if I call get current date, the date should be same. I mean, by given the time zone, we're taking that. Okay, don't go by the literal meaning. So anything that is common, irrespective of your object changing, if it is not changing with the object to object, we'll put them in one singleton object, and we access that the object name dot method name and object main name dot field name.
So basically, these are defined variables whose values don't change.
Defined variables for?
Means these are the ones whose values don't change irrespective of the objects. Even if the objects is same or different, the values remain. Return value will be same irrespective of the object.
Correct, correct. Irrespective of your objects, these will be common for all. So that kind of functionality only we'll put it inside a singleton object. And you can't create a new date utils. You can't declare val a equal to new date utils. That is not allowed. This is already an object. You can't create one more object on that. Since this is already an object, and you can't create another object on top of this, another instance or another copy of this object, we call this as a singleton object. Is it clear?
Yes, Siva.
Maybe if you guys would have known the Java static, then I could have done lots of other comparisons as well. But I don't want to take that because I need to explain what is static also for you. Is it clear, Dharmesh?
Yeah, one question. So is it similar to the variable defining inside the class and accessing that variable in all other
Yes,
objects?
similar only. But anything that you don't see, if you declare a variable inside a class, let's say I have employee class, okay?
Yeah.
Employee class name, salary is there, okay? So I can create Dharmesh object by using that employee class.
Correct.
Name and salary will differ for Dharmesh.
Yep.
And using the same employee class, I can create Snehali object.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
But date is something that is common for both the guys.
Yep.
So I don't need to maintain that at class level. I'll put it in a one constant block, and from there I will refer for both of these objects.
Yep. Yeah, I just wanted to understand the difference. Okay.
That's it.
Shiva, don't close your command line. After the class, I need to see the command line that you showed. So don't close that window, okay?
This one?
The command line. Yeah, no, not this one, the command
This
line.
is, yeah, this is the command line. Yep.
Yeah. So don't close this. After the class, I need to speak about about checking this on the like through the command line, because right now we are doing it through Eclipse and all that, but I want to know how it is going through this, like in terms of memory and stuff like that. So it's like out of the box. I'll speak to you after the class on this.
Okay. Yeah. So if you feel like if that is something that will be helpful for everyone, you can ask your questions.
This is basically, I'm talking in terms of my current situation for the current project.
Okay.
So that's why maybe Larissa could join that conversation. Larissa,
okay.
you could join it. I have some questions related to this.
Okay, no problem, Snehali. Yeah, we can discuss on that. Okay, no problem. Okay, so that is something which is common for all. If you put that in an object, that is called a singleton object. But sometimes, if it is not common for all, but common for your the class objects, like this is here, date is a common for any type of object, whether it could be employee, whether it could be a person, whether it could be a vehicle, whether it could be some product, whether it could be a market, whatever class, from every class you can call that date. That is a kind of singleton object. Now, so you have a class employee, and inside that employee, you want to maintain some constants for all the employees. Then you can declare class employee is there, and you want to maintain a constant only for employee class, that is object employee. And this, if you declare this object employee immediately after your class employee, this is also singleton only. Anything that you declare with object keyword, that is a singleton object. That's already an object. You can't create another instance of that object. This is also singleton. And since this is accompanied by this class, we call that as a companion object. And so the two features for the companion objects is that this is as good as anything that you declare inside your companion object employee. This can see all the things that you have declared in your companion class, and anything that you have declared in your companion class can be visible from companion object. irrespective of your access specifiers. If it is anyway public, then I don't need to explicitly specify that, right? Anyway, from everywhere you can access. So this if you have with the same class name an object declared in the same file immediately after the class, logically, I mean, the code wise you see this like a two things. One is a class and another one is object. But logically you can feel it like, so this is inside of this only, and this is constant portion which is common for all the employees, and anything that is present inside this you can very well access inside your class, and anything present inside this you can very well access inside your object. And let's see an example for that. That makes your understanding a bit easy. Okay. So this pizza companion object that we have seen, let's say I have this, there is nothing that I can, nothing specific here. This we have already talked. Okay. Let me show you the next example. Let's say I have this example. Okay. Just I'll take this out into my notepad. Or I will take this into Eclipse, okay? You guys can. Companion test, okay? Okay. Just let me Control A, Control Shift F. Okay. Now, so I have a class called A. Okay. Let me make this and object called this is some object. Okay. And this is of A. Let me see. Self-constructor arguments cannot reference the end unconstructed this. Are there any other classes that causing problem?
You have
Okay.
class A in some other program, I guess. That's
Yeah.
all.
Class A already declared another.
Yeah.
The other that in that. So I variable or constant one. I give it back call them variables only. In some what is it okay now? Okay. So here, secret is a private val. So that means that should be accessible only inside your class foo. But so object foo, if you see, I have declared a method in this def double foo, passing the object of this foo and the foo dot secret star 2. You can access that. But if you try to access the same way, we already seen this, right? So if you create an object of foo class and try to access the secret variable from this foo object, we were not able to do that. But this guy is able to do that. So that's the speciality of your companion object. And the difference between companion object and just the singleton object. Here driver is also a singleton object, right? So I declare this as an object driver. Object driver is a singleton object. This is just a singleton. This is not a companion. But foo is, it's a singleton companion object. Since it is having same name, that's why from its companion class, it can access everything. foo.secret.star2, it was able to do. And whereas in another singleton object, I'm not able to see that. I hope the difference is clear. And similarly, the way your companion object accessing your companion classes attributes, the reverse, the vice versa is also true. Meaning, if you have anything inside your companion object, that can also be accessible from your class. You just see this example from here itself. So I have a class foo. Inside this, I have a method, print obj, and I'm printing println. So I can see $foo.obj. So this foo is a singleton object name. This object dot variable name obj, private val. This is again a private val, obj. So ideally speaking, this should not be accessible outside of this block. Since this is a companion, so you are able to access this foo.obj in the class foo as well. But if you try to access the same foo.obj here, you'll not be able to. Okay, I can just declare this function.
One basic question, I don't know. So when you say when you say foo on this driver object, singleton object, how you are saying this is singleton object? What is the difference between the object and the singleton object here?
Yeah, so object, a regular object is something that you create with a new keyword, right?
Okay, all right, yep.
And anything that you declare with the object, that is a singleton.
Okay, yeah, got it. Thank you.
Yep. So f.print obj is allowed. just try to see if .print obj is accessible. So that means that even though this is a private to this, and this guy can access that. So that's 2 points about companion object and its companion class. Okay, and case classes. Yeah, even if I start it now, it will take another 20 minutes easily. If you guys are willing to continue, I'll take case classes. Otherwise,
Yeah, you can
tomorrow
continue. Today's class is better, I'm understanding. So you can continue.
Today's class
is much better. Something is going inside my brain. So it's okay. You can continue from my side. I don't know about others. Please speak up, guys.
Yeah. Otherwise, case classes, traits, abstract classes, interfaces versus traits versus abstract classes, exceptions, and so collections in Scala, map, tuples, iterators using Java code in Scala, Scala code in Java, building Scala applications using SBT, building applications using Maven or SBT. I'll skip from Scala session. We'll directly see them in Spark directly because we are already getting late. So mostly I'm planning to complete Scala tomorrow, and Sunday night I will be flying. So if I would have had my own laptop, I would have been taken on Sunday morning also. But since this is my friend's laptop, I can't take on Sunday morning as I was requesting. But I might need your help and support for the next weekend. Maybe let's plan one extra session next weekend, because we lost one session last week and one session this week we are losing. So maybe to compensate that, I might need your support for next weekend at least. This time I will try to make it. Anyways, this week I gave you a word, but I'm skipping that.
Okay, so we don't have any class on Sunday then, correct?
We don't have any class on Sunday night.
Tomorrow night we have. Right?
Tomorrow night we have.
Okay, so
for India, guys,
Sunday morning.
Sunday night.
Sunday night. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I think people are there. I think we can stop here. We'll stop here. Okay. Okay,
yeah,
Snehali, let me see. I think at least you guys should come in mentally prepared that if it may extend 20-30 minutes tomorrow, you should be with me. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. No.
Let me target to complete this tomorrow.
We can catch up on our sleep before that then.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. So any other questions? So let's continue tomorrow only.
I have a question for you, Shiva. If others want to be there, it's fine. If they want to leave, it's just fine. My question is, this is not related to anything Scala or anything. It's just the way we use these public, private, and all this stuff like singleton and stuff. How about what is the memory usage? Because if I'm saving, like for example, I'm saying I have a list of a table. Like I have a table that has 6-7 months of data, for example. Okay, from 1st Jan till 31st October, I have some data. Okay, and every day data is there. So even if we take 1 month, we'll have 30 days of data. Okay, so if I'm setting the date as a variable, okay, so basically my memory, the variable say start date, okay, it will have all the 30 days of saved. So basically in the memory we're going to have that much. So we are referencing that variable. So if I'm calling that variable as a singleton, or if I'm defining as a public and calling it in a class, because I know private means it's saved in just in that much. Say if I say public, how much memory is gone there? Like if I'm not talking about like 1 or 2 values, I'm talking about like 200 million or like 20 million values in one field basically.
Okay.
What about
So
the memory usage in terms of if it is public, and in terms of like what is a better way of using the private or the public so that the memory usage can be controlled?
okay. So the simple answer to your question is there is no relation between memory and public and private.
Okay, so
Whether you declare it as let me complete. Whether you declare it as a public or private, the variable is going to take the same memory, and it is not. I mean, one more understanding that I got from your question is that it is not that one variable will have all the 30 days start dates. Okay, if you declare a variable where as a start date, that is not going to have all your 30 days values. If you create an object, so that object is going to have one value of those 30 days.
No, for example, I concatenate all the variables of Jan month. I'm concatenating and pushing it into one variable so that I pass that variable into my in clause or something, wherever, I don't know. There, in that case, how well can Scala or whatever this is can handle that value?
So again, like if you want to concatenate all the values into a string, and if you want to load it for your processing, there is no relation with your access specifiers. It's not any manner that is related to public or private. Either ways, it's going to take the same memory.
It's going to take the same memory.
Same memory. So if you want to have those fields available somewhere, you have to maintain them in memory. That's it. That's the only option. If you need all the values, you need to maintain all of them in the memory. That's it.
So there is no concept of heap memory or anything like that here in this context.
No. We have heap memory concept. If you load all those 30 values, those 30 values will get loaded into heap memory only, because this Scala, everything runs in JVM only, na?
Okay.
So JVM means JVM need heap memory. So it uses a heap memory only. If you are storing those 30 values into heap memory, I'm telling it will take the same memory irrespective of your access specifier.
Okay.
It's not at all related to your access specifier.
It's not. So in case if I'm using Scala program, I'm accessing any of my cluster data, for example, through Scala, for instance, and if I'm having a do loop for like a running loop, like an infinite loop, 6 months, it's practically going round and round every 6 months, then in that case, how well does Scala communicate with the cluster? Is there a way, or is it possible, or I'm just talking something which is not possible?
So you have a for loop,
where
and
you are fetching from a cluster.
Values are fetching from a cluster.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're reading from a file or that is present in your HDFS cluster, right?
Yeah.
So you are looping through. You are processing record by record.
Exactly.
That's it, right? You are not loading everything into JVM, right?
No. So basically, I'm just using JVM to execute this command, but actually, I'm using the data from the cluster.
Yep. No issues. You can do that.
You can do that. So in this case, we are again utilizing the memory of the cluster and not of the JVM or the heap memory.
No, you are utilizing the JVM of your heap memory of your JVM only. Because if you are reading from cluster or if you are reading from a file, that doesn't matter. If you are reading directly as a plain Scala program, that means it has to run on your JVM. JVM means it has to load through the same Java heap. If it is running in a Spark application, again it has to load it into JVM only. So where it will run? It will run on your cluster. But what is mean by cluster? Different nodes. You have 10 nodes. 10 nodes. In 10 nodes, what is the processing unit? The processing unit is container. So container is nothing but a JVM running in that placeholder of some RAM and some CPU. And again, that JVM, you call it as a yarn child or map task or reduce task or your Spark worker node or Spark task, whatever you call. Everything on your cluster runs on JVM only. Whether it could be Spark, whether it could be MapReduce or anything, except your Impala. Impala is a different scenario, but all other things runs on JVMs only.
Okay. Revati, can you just tell me about the Impala thing that was done and how can we fit this into that? Can you just tell me about that, Revati, here? What Shiva just said?
Okay.
Remember the Impala move that we did? How well does I don't know, any case where we can use the Spark over there? Is there any scenario?
I don't think we can use.
You don't think so, right?
Okay, at least you tell me the scenario, what you are trying to do with Impala. Then I'll tell you whether we can do it in Scala Spark. In Scala Spark.
Revati?
I'm sorry, Shiva. Actually, I'm out of now.
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think with Impala, what it was happening, we were moving scooping data. For example, if you're scooping data, I think it was two different, from a file we're moving into HDFS location through Impala. In that case, how well the Spark will fit there?
How well?
Spark will fit there.
Fast.
Is the execution time more faster, or is it there's a lag there? Because stuff is running in JVM, so basically it's shuffling from JVM to here. So would there be any?
You are scooping data from where to where? I'm not understanding that.
What?
Yeah, your voice is breaking, Snehali.
Hello? Yeah.
Yeah, your voice is breaking, Snehali.
Okay, I don't know.
So, from where to where you are scooping the data? I think you went on mute.
No, yeah, I came back. Okay.
Okay.
So, basically, if we are doing anything in, for example, Hive, any import, for example, okay, a scoop import or something, we're doing it in Hive. And same thing, if we do in Spark, would there be any time difference between both the Hive and Spark? So is the Spark engine more faster than the Hive engine in comparing?
The scoop, I mean, again, like it's I'm getting confused where by your question is. You are talking about scoop.
Scooping into Hive, for example. Okay, if I'm scooping from, say, SQL to Hive. Okay.
Okay. So scooping into Hive.
Okay.
So from your Oracle into Hive using scoop, that by default runs only MapReduce jobs. Okay. And scoop with the Spark engine is not there, I think, as far as I know. Okay. But from Spark SQL, you can connect it to your RDBMS, maybe MySQL or Oracle. You can load the data.
Okay.
But in my opinion, the data copy is in both the places, it's a kind of same.
Or there won't be any, like something working on
the copying, data copying. Yeah, data copying, I don't think so that you can make faster with Spark, because anything that you are processing, once you have data, it loads into RAM memory. That's why it can do that bit faster. If it is not processing, it has to pull the data onto HDFS. I don't think so. It can do also. Even yeah, I never compared that Spark SQL directly accessing RDBMS with Scoop performance. We didn't do performance test, but we can access. So the way you can use Scoop to get the tables from RDBMS into HDFS, you can still using Spark SQL, you can connect to MySQL and read the table and whatever you want to do, and you can do that. But so just reading and writing over HDFS, we didn't compare the performance. But even if we do, my gut feel is that it might not be maybe the right process, maybe a little bit faster, but I don't think so it will make any significant difference. I'm guessing that, but I'm not sure. You can give it a try. Once we'll cover Spark SQL, I'll show how to connect to RDBMS. Maybe you do a quick test.
That's where I'll be interested, actually.
Yep, you do a quick test that transfer one table through Scoop, and the same read the table through Spark SQL, and just don't do anything, just write as it is.
Okay.
Okay. So that way, let's test, and if that works out, yeah, we will also consider. I'll also consider that decision and recommend somewhere.
Perfect.
Okay. Yep.
Okay.
Let's do that. Maybe next weekend. Yep.
Yeah,
The next
I'll
weekend
be more interested in that one.
Yep. We'll do that. Yeah. Good thought, Snehali.
I'm just using my brains here and there. I don't know whether it's possible or no. So I just want to make sure that
possible.
I know it could be a very tough
that is
question, but I just want to know it.
Yeah. That's the first of all, that's possible. But I never did a performance test on that. Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Because
yeah,
in
let's
performance
do that.
tuning, I was told that if you use in Spark ODBC, that would be comparatively to take half the time as that of the Hortonworks ODBC driver. I was told that, so because I didn't actually work on it, so I really don't know. So I want to just know from your experience, based on what you have worked with, whether the Spark ODBC driver would be more faster rather than a high Hortonworks driver.
Spark ODBC. So I worked on Spark JDBC connections to connect with RDBMS. And Impala ODBC drivers I have worked, but that is not for scooping the data. Okay, that for a different scenario. But anyway, since we thought of trying this out, just let's test this out next weekend. Does it make sense? Ali? I think I lost your voice. Okay, I think I lost your voice, or my connection might be a problem. Hey, others, can you guys hear me? Okay. Yeah, I think some connection problem from Snehali's side. Okay.
I'm here, Shiva. I just got disconnected.
Oh, okay. So anyway, we thought of doing that test. Let's do, and let's come to a conclusion on that, Snehali. Okay. Anything else?
No, I'm good so far.
Okay, great. So today your brain is working like anything.
Yes, it is, finally. Last week was like really, I'm not sure what you spoke, trust me.
Okay, that's why I took only 2 sessions.
No, seriously, last week I think I didn't even get 1%. I don't know about others, but from me, I didn't even get 1%. Trust me. And
okay.
Well, it was just a practice. If I practice, I might get it, because I didn't practice, so that's why I think I'm not confident.
Yeah, and I did lot of Java comparison there. That's the reason you might have got confused also the classes objects and constructors concepts. I would have directly told you that this is how it functions in Scala. Take this as granted. Don't ask me why. That's the case, then you might have made 4 or 5 rules in your brain. So this is how it works. Class is nothing but this. Object is nothing but this. And constructor nothing is but this. So I tried to explain you in terms of via Java OOPS concept. So
I think because I'm not from the Java background, so this theory I'm okay. But when actually get into practical, I don't know how well I'm going to perform, because everything what we do, what we learn in theory, does not coincide with practical in the real world. Theory is just in books, but in real life, things are really different. So,
correct.
Well, I don't know how and
Agreed.
when I'm doing it. So,
yeah, agreed. Yeah, if you get any doubt, no worries. I'll be available in all the means like mail, call, WhatsApp. You can just give me, just reach out to me, no problem.
okay, sure.
And
You will have to.
so yeah, and one more thing.
Because I'm going to attack you after the class. Once I start my Spark project, you are going to be bombarded with emails from my side.
Okay, yeah, we'll see that. And I'm going to add one more backup for me. So I requested him to join from today onwards, even in the Spark classes. He's currently his name is Praveen. So he's joined our session. So he will also be part of your session. I will be adding him to the Spark, the WhatsApp group, and as well as I'll give you some common email ID. So for everyone. So if you have any common questions, like anything, not specific to me, if something anyone can answer your question, you guys just send out to this common email ID, hadoopjs@gmail.com, and so the backup phone number. Praveen, can you type in your phone number there?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So in case if you guys are not able to reach out to me, so you can reach out to Praveen as well. Okay. So he's very hands-on guy, strong developer. Okay.
So Praveen, could you please just say some introduction on yourself, like so we know what?
Yeah. It's my bad. I didn't introduce him in the beginning. Just introduce yourself to the team, Praveen.
Hi everyone, this is Praveen here. This is Praveen, and I have around 4.5 to 5 years of experience in big data technologies and Java. Currently, I'm working with Shiva only.
So he's one of my senior developer in my team. Okay, so that's the reason why I'm pulling him. Okay, so he's almost like my backbone, or wherever I need any coding help. So yeah, I'll first rely on him. Okay.
I'm very good at big data technologies like Hadoop, Hadoop related things.
Okay.
And even just I'm okay with Spark and Scala as well. Just I can answer your questions in Spark and Scala.
Yeah. I mean, if you say you're okay, then we are nothing. You are saying you Shiva senior. Oh my god.
No, these are like emerging technologies, Snehali. I mean, you guys. I mean, we have to admit that we just know maybe 25%, 30% out of the Spark or Scala or something like that, right? I mean, so we have. It keeps on changing from version to version. New features keep coming, so we can teach whatever we have learned so far from our experience. Okay, so that's the reason why just saying, oh, I can, yeah. So anything else, guys?
No, good so far.
Okay, thank you, guys. Thank you very much. Okay,
Thank you.
let's meet tomorrow and try to complete Scala part.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Bye bye.
Yep. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, bye, Praveen.
Yeah. Bye.